So, you know, if you watched me long enough, that I love runes. It was one of my oldest systems that I worked with in divination. And I also love playing cards, which is also one of my oldest systems of divination. And so when I saw that there was a bicycle playing card rune deck, I had to get it. Whether I ever did anything other than have it sit in my collection, I was perfectly fine with that. And so I picked this deck up recently and it came in and I really love it. It's a limited edition. The backings on it are really gorgeous. They have the full wheel here. This is the based off of the Elder Futhark. There are no blank runes in it. It's just the Elder Futhark, and it's really gorgeous. I like the black and the gold feel of the design, and I do think it looks really cool. So that's the backing. The jokers look like these two web stars. I don't know what, like a spin the wheel, almost like a wheel of fortune, but with the webs and the connections. And I would guess that, you know, you could find a lot of the runes possibly in here. I don't know. But that's what the jokers look like. And then they do give you a key for the letter that it's associated if you're going to spell something out, and then what the name of the rune is. And they look pretty standard. There are different ways to write the runes or to call the runes. A lot of it is supposition, especially in the Elder Futhark. It is reconstructed Proto-Germanic. We don't know exactly what the names of the runes were called, and so you are going to get variations, and those variations don't mean that somebody is right or wrong. It's just the variation that they use. But these look pretty. We have Fehu, Uruz, Turazaz, Anzus, Raido, Kenaz. I learned it with Kauna, and Kenaz I think is more correct for the Elder Futhark, but I do still often interchange that with Kauna. Gabo, Wunyo, Hagalaz, Naudis, Isa, Yera, Awaz, Pertho, Algiz, Solo, Tiwaz. You sometimes see that spelled differently. Berkana, Ewaz. Then we have Manaz, Laguz, Ingwaz, Othala. It's also seen spelled in different ways, and Dagas. So pretty standard there. And so they give you that little heads, which I think is nice. If you don't know what the runes are, you've got a little key there. So that's there. And then basically you have two sets of the Elder Futhark runes in the there are two, let me rephrase that. There are a full set oh my goodness. There is a full set of Elder Futhark runes in each of these pairings. So the diamonds and the spades go together to make a complete set, and the clubs and the hearts go together to make a complete set. And then the aces have these globes on them, and they spell their suit name. So, you know, it's the heart one's pretty easy to see here, where you have the H for Hagalaz, the E, the A, the R, and the T for heart. And so you can also see the C, the L, the U, and the B for the club. So they've just spelled out the suit name in the runes in the aces. So then when we take these down here, I'll probably have to zoom out. We won't put the aces because those don't really have a rune on them. Oops. Go where we can. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, let me zoom out because I want to be able to get the whole shebang. I'll probably have to zoom out more than that, Kelly. Sorry. I'm going to zoom out. So just, I've given up trying to fit them perfectly centered onto the table, and we will just move here. And I also don't know why I did it in sets of 5, even though I was trying to split the thing. So let me zoom out now. And you can see that within those 2 suits, we have the entire Elder Futhark. So we have 2 sets of the Elder Futhark plus 4 aces, right, in there. So would I use this to pull runes as and kind of combine it with playing card reading? No, not necessarily. Now, my friend Chris Yao, and he's got a channel, I don't here, I'll have to put a link to it, Barely Balanced Tarot. He has had these, and he has taken, you know, a set like this. So you've got a full set of the runes. It makes a nice, small, handy rune set to take, card set to take with you. So that is something I could see being useful. But then the other thing that he did say he did, which I liked, is I like to, with playing card divination, you can get a really nice sort of trajectory yes and no. So if you had a question for yourself, should I take this upcoming job? Right. So you could use your yes and no. Right now it says no, but we do have this red in the middle here that does say there is a way that you could maybe interrupt this no and make it work. And then you would also be able to interpret the runes, right? We need to shine a light though, especially with Tiwaz here, that maybe there's a sacrifice we're willing to make that would make this work in some way, right? So you could get sort of your yes and no playing card message, and then almost as like a built-in oracle message. Like I wouldn't necessarily associate, I don't believe there was any association between sort of how you would read the playing cards and how you would read the number plus the suit and the rune. I don't think any specific intention went into that, but if you kept them separate, whereas you just did your playing card message, but then as almost like pulling an oracle message, you then have that underlying message of the runes that you set out separately, right? Now, it obviously couldn't be a full playing card reading, right, unless you put in all of the cards, but you could get that red and black scanning, which is a primary big way in which I do read playing cards. You don't have to, you can get quite a lot of information in terms of a concrete kind of yes and no questions out of just looking at the colors, red and black. Now you get even more nuance if you use all of them. So could you use all of them? Yes, but you're going to have then duplicates of rune, which would only put emphasis on it. So let's just stick them all together and do the same sort of thing. We definitely want to put our aces in there. We don't need to put those in there. Again, I would use, doing it this way, I would certainly highlight the playing card as being the primary method of reading, and then I would be utilizing the runes as sort of an oracle message underneath the message. And I'm an additive reader, and what that means is that if I do a playing card reading and then I come and I add in the layer of the runes, it would never supersede the message that I'd already gotten from the playing cards. It would just be layered into the message that I already had. So then I wouldn't get it kind of flipping whatever I thought on its head. It would just give me additive information. So for example, if I did a typical 6 card where this card is, the main cards are here, this card into the above and to the right influence the cards, right? So my main card, so if let's say there was a yes and no built in, I could do my yes and no here. I have 2 reds and a black, so things are looking good, but there is an opportunity, and it's a strong opportunity with a spade where that flow could get interrupted, right? So I can kind of do my yes and no there, and it's not a strong yes because we don't have 2 hearts, we have 2 diamonds. So we can do our yes and no there. We could go ahead and do the whole playing card reading, and then we could utilize any runes. Obviously, I wouldn't read these as anything. I would be paying attention to this lower line, and what comes up for this is Isa, with Pertho, right? So we have this idea of things that are frozen and slowed, but they can be treacherous and beautiful, right? But there is a gamble, there is a chance here. So take things slow, walk your way carefully, because it could be treacherous. The ice could break, right? The ice could break there, but it is probably worth taking a risk on. There again, I'm just kind of throwing a quickie thing out there, so you could read it that way. So then let's kind of pull, what happens if I were to get, and I'll just be playing around with this and see, right? What if I were to get this, and so now I have 2 Isas, right? For me, I would just use that as an exclamation point, right? That really brings out the energy of that. The most you can get is 2, because there are 2 sets of runes here, and so that could simply be putting an emphasis on that energy of the ice. You really need to be careful. You really need to step carefully here. It's beautiful and it looks good, and slowing down is a good thing, that the winter time and the ice causes us to stop and to freeze and to slow down. This isn't a negative, but it can be dangerous, and especially with the spade in the middle, we need to be a little bit more careful of how we step. So it would just put emphasis on that particular rune. So I don't know, I'll play around with it and see, but either way, it's a cool deck. And again, you could just take a full set of the runes, pop it in your, put a rubber band around it, pop it in your purse, and then you've got a set of runes to go in a small size, which is nice to have a rune deck that is small if you do use rune decks. So that is I just thought we would do a quick peek at this deck, just for interest's sake. Again, will I be using this? I feel like I'll give it a shot. I feel like there may be a place for it, and play around with it and see how that goes. I wouldn't feel the need to read every rune, although you can, but in this particular reading, this is the main line, so I'd probably focus there on it, although we could use this rune as influencing it as well, and there's ways in which that could really get interesting. I'm not sure, but that is just a quick look at the bicycle playing card deck runes. It's a limited edition. I don't know if that means, is there a date on here? This is 2021, so I don't know if that means that this is really a limited edition where it's not going to be out very long. I don't know, but if you're interested in runes and you love playing cards, you might want to take a peek at this and see if that's something that you want to add to your collection.